What I noticed, the more you question the authenticity of a mainstream political narrative, the more people try to put you in a conspiracy theorist box and blacklist you. I'm
I
sure you
know.
get that a lot, right?
Oh, yeah. For instance, I cannot say anything about Biden or anything on the left without people immediately assuming I'm QAnon.
This is why I don't like the term conspiracy theory. Because, first of
Me
all,
neither.
conspiracies are real. People do conspire to lie.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like common
That's just a
knowledge, right?
fact. Yeah.
But it's like, really, though, you're just a citizen who's researching things on their own,
Yeah.
presenting the evidence they found, and highlighting things that contradict what the masses are being told. Like, how
Yeah.
is that bad?
Well, one of the things too is you get a lot of those people who are like, you shouldn't be, for instance, shouldn't be talking to this person or saying this because you're making our community look bad. And I'm like, a lot of the time it's the conspiracy people who make us look
Yeah.
bad because they'll be watching something and they'll be like, oh, that person's controlled op. Did you see all their hand signals? And I'm like, you need to stop with the
Yep.
hand.
They're
You make us look crazy. Stop with the hand signals.
I know a few people like that, and they're just so quick to just come to a
know.
conclusion, right?
Yeah.
It's like you need to like look into this more. Like, please don't ever be a judge, a detective, or anything where you're like, you got to figure something out because you could just show up to a crime scene and be like, oh yeah, I already know what happened. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh wait, sir, we have evidence. I don't need that. You know what I
made
mean?
a peace
Like,
sign, and I know what that means.
yeah.
I already know what that means.
The other thing I hate too is like the people that believe in the shape shifting eye thing. Justin Bieber's eyes twitched or whatever. And it's like in editing, I know that when you get a low quality feed of something, a lot of times the eyes will get pixelated because there's so many colors in people's eyes.
Right.
So it can't process it. So what happens by default, the program will just flatten it out to be one color. So
Yeah.
it's like I literally know the answer to it.
Actually, I've had something similar with that too. There are a lot of people who will post videos of themselves in front of the sun, and then
Right.
they're like, "Do you see that? There's
Yeah.
an orb floating around behind me. There's an orb."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "That's lens flare.
Right. So it's
You
like,
need to stop making us look insane, okay?
Right.
There's no orb. The second sun is not floating around. That's lens flare."
it's funny how though they'll still try to dismiss people that are trying to counter the narrative with evidence.
Well, I think what shocks me the most is how angry people get. People
Yeah.
will get like extremely enraged
They will.
that somebody's a flat earther. Never going to listen to you
Yeah.
again. You were wrong. I'm like, I never said that was a
Yeah.
fact, though. I was just pondering. Why do you guys get so upset about, I'm going
Right.
to pose a question to you. You guys can tell me
Right.
your thoughts and we
Right.
can discuss.
You could even take like a guy like Alex Jones or whatever, like the moment he says one thing that's wrong, discredits his whole identity and everything. If you were recorded your
Yeah.
whole life, there was a lot of shit that you said that was wrong.
Oh, I
and
know.
still though, why are you listening to somebody like that under the pretense of whatever he says is the truth? That's just the guy that's presenting information. So it's like just take the information that he's given you and then do your own research about it. He's not a god or messiah.
This is what I always tell people. I'm like, don't listen to anybody. Don't
Right.
trust anybody. Don't trust me. I'm not asking you to not trust them and trust me. I'm asking you to look at the information and use discernment and decide for yourself what you think is true
Right.
and what isn't true.